Hi, I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So I want to talk to you about right sizing. So if you are a baby boomer, you might be wondering, should we stay in our existing home or should we downsize or right size to a home that better suits your current lifestyle? So if you're an empty nester and your kids are now grown, they have their own homes. If you are pre-retired or retired, your lifestyle has changed. And you look around and you see those unused spaces that used to be filled with the kids and all of their book bags and all their accoutrement and everything else, but they've now grown and they may have their own homes. And what's interesting too is that you look around your neighborhood and your neighborhoods somehow look a little bit younger than you do, and that many of your friends might have also moved from your current neighborhood. So you're kind of left wondering, should I right size to a home that better suits this life stage? And how do you know what the right size home is? So many of you know that I used to live in a very large home, and then I moved to a tiny little apartment in Philadelphia for 4 years. And then over the summer, I right-sized to a perfect sized home in a beautiful historic village in Newcastle, Delaware. So while I was right-sizing, I created a checklist that I want to share with you. It's on my website, Rita Wilkins at ritawilkins.com, or Design Services Ltd. It's a free download, and the checklist is how to find the right size home for you. And I'm going to kind of go through the basics of it, and you are welcome to download it and do your own assessment. But the very first thing you do is you assess your existing home. What features do you like and what works for you for your current lifestyle right now? So it might be that the open plan works for you because you entertain, because you have a large family, with holidays coming up. That open plan really works for you. So you may want to replicate that when you move to a right size home. Maybe it's an eat-in kitchen and you love sitting in the kitchen having your dinners and breakfasts and so forth. And it might also be closet space. So in big homes, there's a lot of closet space usually. So you might want to then look at what are the features that you don't like and that are not working for you in your current home. So one that I hear very frequently from baby boomers is the second floor bedroom. Even though it's worked for all of these years, maybe it's getting a little harder to go up and down those stairs. Another one might be the amount of unused space. When you have a large home and you're raising a family, it's natural to have a number of bedrooms. But when you look around now, many of those bedrooms are empty and just being unused, and you're having to pay for that. Another one might be that the house just overall is too big for you to maintain, and you don't want that anymore. So a third way to look at this in terms of assessing your existing home would be, what features do you wish you had now or in that future right size home? One might be that first floor master bedroom suite that takes care of aging in place. Another one might be a walk-in shower, and another one might be a dedicated home office. I hear that a lot now, that the kitchen table isn't working anymore, or those makeshift offices that we did during COVID. Now people are saying, I really want a dedicated home office. The second thing to assess is what matters most to you. I call one category the non-negotiables. So those are things that are just non-negotiable. So one is maybe being close to your family and grandchildren. Another one might be a smaller, more efficient use of space. And a third might be a walkable community. So those for you might be non-negotiable. On the checklist, you would check your own things that matter to you. And the other side of that is, what are you willing to live without? So one might be the big kitchen. So maybe you have a gorgeous kitchen right now and several people can cook in it at the same time, but you're thinking, in a smaller, right-sized house, I really don't have to have this. Maybe you would say, I don't have to have a formal dining room. And many of you say, I don't really have to have the large yard anymore. Maybe just a small yard that I can have a few plants and vegetables and things like that. Then the third thing to assess is your current and desired future lifestyle. So what you want to do first is just to say, day to day, what is it that you do? So you might say, I work from home. You might say, I travel quite a bit. And then the other is that I entertain. So those are things that you want to continue doing wherever you move. And then the other thing to think about is what you want to do when you do right size to that right size home or that future location. You want to get together with neighbors more. You want to have more time to relax and maybe do nothing, not have to do the yard, and not have to do all the fix-ups that often happen in a home. And then number 4 is to assess your current location versus an ideal location. So look at where you're living right now, and you might say, well, everywhere I go, I have to get into a car. And then another thing you might say is, when we want to visit our grandchildren, it's too far away to do for a couple of hours, or, you might have to plan longer term. You can't just do it spontaneously. Another one is not being close enough to restaurants and shops and so forth. So what that might say then is your ideal location is that you can walk everywhere and that you're close enough to your kids that you can visit and they can visit you, and that you might have access to good public transportation, healthcare, restaurants, and so forth. And the last thing to assess is assess your budget. So your current budget and also your potential future needs and expenses. So in your current home, you might be saying, this is getting a little too costly for our monthly budget. You might also be saying that these energy bills are just getting way too high for us to afford. And then another thing you might say is that there's a big upcoming repair to a roof or some other part of the house. So that's kind of looking at your budget for your current house. Then look at the budget for the desired right-sized home. Number 1, that it's more energy efficient, that it's low maintenance, and that it's affordable for your monthly budget. And then the last thing is to assess your wants, your needs for the next 10 to 15 years. So if you want more freedom to travel, you want more time with your family and friends, and you want to be able to age in place or perhaps care for an aging parent in your home. Those are all the kinds of things that as you are looking for the right size home, that you want to take time to discern. So I hope that this checklist will help you. Go to my website, Rita Wilkins at ritawilkins.com, and it's a free download. I would love to hear back from you if it has helped you. And you are also welcome to sign up for a complimentary 30-minute consultation by phone. And I'd be glad to discuss it with you. Take care.